All right, we can take the first. All right, we're live. What up, motherfuckers?
What up? What up?
All right, we're good. Doing this live, so this is all fun. We're here with Justin.
Right.
Justin is the owner of Just Meats, the local butcher here in Lake Havasu, and we are exposing the butching.
The butching. The butching.
All right, let's get the basics out of the way.
For
Justin, where are you from?
Barstow, California.
Oh, shit.
The hood. Yeah.
That's what's up, dude. Del Taco #1.
DT,
Is it?
bro.
That's the first Del Taco.
Is it really?
Yeah.
The
Oh,
very
okay.
first one. The very first one's actually in Yermo, California.
Oh, okay.
It's called the Burger Den. It's not even a Del Taco no more, but the three in Barstow are the originally owned ones by the same family.
They're a little.
The menus are different. Food's bigger, more expensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's good. And all the meat is local shit. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Couldn't get to a question. We'll check the mic.
Cool. What is the hype behind Wagyu beef? What I understand is, obviously marbling's important when you're talking about beef, and it's just, they name their cows. It comes from Japan. They treat them a certain way, and I mean, I can kind of, just because it's an animal, I can kind of understand maybe an animal being healthier or whatever because of the way it's treated, obviously, and the environment is really going to create that.
Yeah.
But is the hype real about Wagyu?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so it's a breed. So Wagyu is a breed. So you got purebreds from Japan that can only be bred in Japan. They can't come out here. You can't send them out here. You can't do any of that. So what they do is when you find like an American and Australian Wagyu, what they do is they send legit. They probably send sperms. Like they take DNA sperms, they shoot them out, they impregnate a Black Angus out here in America
No
or
kidding.
Australia.
Wow.
That brings you the cheaper ones, the Australian, the American, which are still great, but the breed is the biggest deal. And to be completely honest with you, the real Wagyus that are certified, all that shit, the reason they're so tender and great is because they sit in a hammock. They don't get to walk. They don't get to run around.
So it's like baby deer when they do, what is that?
Veal.
Veal,
Veal.
yeah.
Baby calves.
Baby calves.
Veal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So the thing with like a lot of high-end lamb and high-end Wagyu is it sounds really bad, but they pop their joints off at their arms and legs.
Oh,
They pop
my
them
God.
off when they're babies because it's real easy. They don't really feel it, They pop them just like when you chop tails and ears off pit bulls. So they pop them off, they don't feel them, and they hang them in a hammock so they don't move, they don't stress out. All they do is eat their whole life. They just eat. They just shovel them with whether it is corn, pancakes. They feed them beer. You'll see videos on YouTube of dudes just dumping Japanese beer in their mouth just so
Really?
they get drunk and eat more. Yeah.
Really? No kidding.
That's Japanese. We got it in the shop. I should have brought a certificate to show you guys.
That's
It's,
wild, dude.
Yeah, that's what makes it $120 a pound. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I've never had it. I don't think I've had it at the foundry.
I don't think I've really had real certified Wagyu beef. I think that I've had it. You know what I mean?
Is it something you eat all the time, or is it just something like you try?
It's something
Like,
if you start eating it all the time, it'll really mess up your stomach. The protein, fat content. If you eat too much, you'll get the meat sweats. You'll probably throw up. You can't.
No
eat too
shit.
much. Yeah, that's Japanese. So if you go to the foundry and get it, and this is nothing against the foundry, they probably carry an American or Australian. They don't have Japanese because it's going to be a $400 to $1,600 steak in a restaurant.
Nice.
So if you're paying, I don't know what you pay at the foundry, but I know it's not that. I would
Right.
have heard about it by now. So.
Yeah, it's still definitely better quality meat. I can tell the difference between like a foundry Wagyu steak than opposed to, Mario's, right? You know what I
I
mean?
agree.
So, yeah.
I think one of the biggest bullshit scams is tomahawks, tomahawk steaks. I don't like them. I'm not a fan of them. I think they're just for show and for people that don't really know what the fuck they're doing. Like to me, I like my meat seasoned. You know what I mean? Like,
Of course.
and if I have a steak this thick, what am I getting? Just a little seasoning on the top and a little on the bottom.
Yeah.
Some people prefer the meat taste, but I want my salt, pepper.
I'm a meat guy.
want the-
I just need salt and pepper on that bad boy.
There you go. Yeah. So that's the tomahawk thing is kind of stupid. That's why we don't sell them. So if
You don't sell tomahawk?
We don't sell tomahawks at all. So we get them if people really ask for them, but we have to get 2 whole racks of tomahawks. Have you ever seen a prime rib roast? Like a big prime rib roast, you'll see 8 bones flying off of it.
Yeah.
And we have to cut those like that. So I got to sell 16 tomahawks within 3 days.
Yeah.
Which doesn't work for us. It just doesn't work. So if you want a tomahawk, really just go get a 2-inch ribeye. That's all it is. You're paying. For us, it's $30 a pound for the prime tomahawks. If you go to Smith's, you're going to get a choice one or a select one, the really low grades of meat, for $16 a pound, which is cool. But you're still going to pay $16 just for that bone because that pound is there. So our tomahawk prime, when we did have them, were like $100 steaks. It's pointless. Pay $55 and get the 2-inch ribeye.
Absolutely.
And it's good. And I agree with you. The inside, the meat taste is great if you want to be like Joe Rogan and eat the grass-fed, grass-finished beef. No corn, no GMOs. Eat that meat. That's fine. That's meat flavor. You could taste the grass. It's gross to me. I don't like it. That's why we don't carry it.
I love it, and I'm definitely, the carnival thing is my deal. But really quick before we get on further, what's the name of your shop and what's your address? And let's get that really quick. So
Just Meats. We're at 34 North Lake Havasu Avenue, Suite 7, next to Little Caesars, next to Number One Nails, one of the 6 in town. By
Nice.
Heather's Water and Ice, Burrito Shack, that new boutique.
Zip Fuels, everything right there.
Yeah, right by Zip. Yeah, behind Zip. Taco Bell. Yeah.
cool. So are you a bacon guy or a sausage guy?
For breakfast?
Yeah.
Shit. We usually cook both, brother. We usually cook both. If we're making breakfast, we eat both, but we probably eat more bacon.
If you had to choose one, it'd be bacon,
No, sausage. for
sausage,
sure.
sausage.
Because I make it all by hand at the shop, so I'll make
Oh,
any.
yeah.
I make applewood sausage, breakfast, mesquite barbecue. I can make any sausage. I'd rather do that than bacon.
Yeah, me too.
100%. Yeah.
At what age and how did you get into butchering?
So I really started in really late in life. I was a forklift driver. I was a prison guard. I did that for a long time. And then I started at a Army base, Fort Irwin, California, which is like 40 miles north of Barstow. It's one of the only national training centers left. I was a forklift driver there. My buddy Sergio, he's I don't want to say an SA from Compton, but he is. He's an SA from Compton. He was a meat cutter there.
Hey, shout out
And
to Compton.
Yeah, there you go. And then we were cool. And then he's like, hey, man, get in here. It's a higher paying government job, So I was like, all right, cool. So I ended up getting in there. So I did that for like 4 to 5 years. And then I actually grew up in a shop in Barstow, a home slaughter shop, shit like that. My dad had me in there when he get laid off. He'd help him business, like killing animals, skinning them, cutting down, breaking down from the whole animal. And that's really where I got strong because you really got to lift them motherfuckers like they're huge.
Yeah, where do they source like most of the animals from?
What, them?
Yeah, like at that time.
So at that time, that's all home slaughter shit. So it could be, so we were in Barstow. So everywhere from Pinion Hills to Lancaster to Johnson Valley to Joshua Tree, all those dudes. They're Barstow Country Butchering is their name. I got their tat on me.
Shit.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was a lifer there, I thought, anyways, until
Yeah.
we found this opportunity. So there's like 9 of us, I think, there that have that tattoo.
So let's talk about that. How did you find the opportunity?
That opportunity?
No, this like.
Oh,
opening Just
so
Meats.
so during COVID, California was shut down, and Barstow is a pretty so it's a red. California, believe it or not, it's a red state. It's all shut down because of the big cities and stuff. But San Bernardino County, where we were at, Barstow is a home ranch town. It's got like 6 dairies, 10 ranches. They have all that stuff. So there, we were still not shut down terribly, but her sister lived out here, my wife's sister. So we drove out here to go on the lake and do shit that was fun. We couldn't go to restaurants there. We couldn't do shit. So we came out here.
Yeah.
Just normal California story. And came out here, and then everyone wanted to barbecue. My brother-in-laws, they were like, oh, well, let's go barbecue, And I'm like, all right, cool. Where's the butcher shop at? And they said, well, we got to go to Smith's. There ain't any shit out here. The Carniceria. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Dude?
Yeah, right.
This is stupid. It's like, no, I need a butcher shop. I was like, is there one in Parker? They're like, no. I was like, Bullhead? Kingman?
Boom.
Anywhere, dude? And they said no.
Opportunity right
They said
there.
no. So I did the research. There used to be one in Bullhead. There used to be one in Kingman. There used to be one in Parker. And there was one in Havasu in the 80s, 90s, something like that. And so I told my wife, and this was 6 months before we moved here. It happened really fast. And I told my wife, I was like, we could sell just my house. She owned a house when I met her, and then I owned a house. So I was like, well, if we just sell both of them, we could easily have the money to open a shop out here. And 6 months later, we moved out here and did this. It was wild.
That's
bro.
awesome.
It was a big risk.
Well, that's how you grow. I mean, that's how you take yourself out of comfort zone. That's how you take risks. That's what happens. That's how people open up businesses and become entrepreneurs, man. I think that's inspiring.
How long
That's
you been in
awesome.
the business now?
Almost 2 years. August will be 2 years. Technically, July was 2 years, but the health department shut us down right when we opened. We opened, and then on the Monday, they were like, hey, you can't do that. And I'm like, why? And they're like, you didn't have permits, but we fucking did. It's a long story, but we did.
So how do you like your steak cooked?
Fuck, it was pretty much as rare as it goes.
Yeah.
As rare as it goes. Medium rare is perfect. If I'm going to someone's house, that's the biggest problem when someone invites me over. Well, cook steaks for you. I'm like the worst person to cook steaks for. I'm like, I'm going to sit there and try to hey, man, don't do that.
Right.
What are you doing? It's not room temperature before you cook it. I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Well, that's the proper way to cook a steak. Though.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, room
Yeah.
temperature, and
Room
then
temp, yeah.
you want to render the meat first, the
yeah.
fat, right, and then throw it down. So there's definitely a process to getting the best cooked steak for sure.
What cut is your favorite?
So technically, my favorite cut's a hanger steak or a flat iron. But
What's a hanger steak? I'm sorry for
So-
people that I don't know what that is.
So a hanger steak, a cow only has one. You rarely find them. So if you kill a cow, this is a big thing about a cow. And this is what you'll see in like Smith's and stuff. You go to Smith's and they have 8 tri-tips in their case. 8 tri-tips. Cows only make 2. So if you kill a cow and break it all down, there's only 2 tri-tips on that cow. So if you're cooking 4 tri-tips for the homies or whatever, that's 2 cows you just killed for 4 tri-tips. It's wild. Briskets,
no
the same
shit.
thing. Yeah, briskets. Cows only have 2 briskets, 2 tri-tips, 2 flanks, 2 picanhas, 2 short rib plates that you get. They have 3 of those or 4 of those, depending on if you get a 3 or 4 bone. So they only have 2 of all those things. So when you're cooking, just think about it. It's like, oh man, I killed that many cows. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But so flat irons, cows have 4 of them. Those are my favorite. And if you get them the right, if you go to the store, they're most likely cut into steaks like this big. Mm-hmm. That's not what you want because you'll see a fat tendon in the middle. Flat irons are flat like a flank steak. We sell them in the shop sometimes because, like I said, cows only have 4 of them, so we don't get them very often. But hanger steaks are the best. They're my favorite. Cows only have 1. We do sell them, but we get them in like a case of like 12 of them. So that's 12 cows it took to get that 1 case. Sell like a case a week. So it's kind of crazy to think about that. So people are real worried about the mass-produced beef and all that stuff, but it's really hard to get away from that if you want your cuts that you want.
And then where do you get your cows from?
So we get most of our shit out of Greeley, Colorado. Greeley, Colorado, we pull a lot out of. Most of our steaks and stuff, if they run out, because we go from a ranch that's been owned by the same guys for 50 plus years, they run out a lot because, like I said, tri-tips only come so many per cow and stuff like that. We go to Harris Ranch, California. That's not a lot from Harris Ranch, just high-end meat from Harris Ranch, one of the best ranches in the country. They're just really expensive. Yeah. So our prices are high because of that. But also shipping from Greeley, Colorado isn't cheap either. That's why our prices are kind of crazy. What's
the craziest request you've had or craziest thing you've ever stocked or got in?
Craziest thing I've ever got in is like today. So my in-laws are coming out with a couple quarter cows because I'm selling them out here. So a guy asked me for a couple cow heads. So I'm bringing whole cow heads out, which isn't crazy. The craziest request I've ever got was some dude want a kangaroo. And I know it's wild. People are crazy, dude. He's like, hey,
kangaroo?
First he asked for exotic meats. He's like, hey man, you carry any exotics? I was like, yeah, I can get elk, deer, I can get a goat, I can get llama, I can get pretty much a lot of stuff. You know, I've killed llamas, or we've processed llamas, and
so is that what's considered exotic? Is like wildlife?
Yeah, anything wild game and up is exotic. Technically, Wagyu is exotic because it's not. If you look up the definition of exotic, it's like something you can't regularly get, whatever. But the dude asked for kangaroo, and I was like. And he looked like a Wild Thornberry looking dude, like a dude that's gonna like come in like really short those adventure shorts. Yeah, Aussie shorts. The craziest thing I actually got in the shop was tripas, their intestines, cow intestines. But we had a lot of people ask for stuff like that. That's how menudo's made. Real menudo is made with intestines. If you go to like most places here in town don't use intestines. Maybe the Carniceria does. That's a great family. I have nothing against the Carniceria. Great family. Their menudo may be made with intestines. I didn't ask, but it probably.
That's why I don't like menudo. I'd rather eat pozole.
Pozole's great.
Yeah.
Pozole. When I was a prison guard, we ate pozole all the time because they made it for the prisoners once a month. So I was like, I need a bowl, dude.
Nice.
But menudo, it's awesome. It's good. It's the best hangover cure. I don't know why. Probably because of the salt content, but
it keeps you hydrated.
Oh yeah, dude. It hooks you up for sure.
So what's your take on manufactured meat, and do you think that that's going to hurt the meat industry?
I don't think it will. If you're talking about like lab grown meat, is that what you're talking about? Yeah, lab grown meat is a little bit of a thing, but it's more of a thing with like vegans and stuff, like Beyond Meat and stuff like that. It's not touching everybody. It's just like the mRNA vaccines in cows. Everyone thinks that's a big deal, but that was a Facebook rumor that came out, and everyone all my customers come to me, your cow's not getting that COVID shot, is it? Like, no, it's not. No, it's not. That was a rumor, and the ranchers I get from, any rancher you talk to in the country is most likely Republican. Not like that's a crazy thing, but it is. So these ranchers would rather die than shoot their cows up with this stuff. And every cow, no matter if you go and buy a 100% organic cow, it's going to have its shots. Like you buy a dog, you go to take it to the vet, it gets its shots, it gets parvo shots, it gets all that stuff. And just like most people, I'm against vaccines and all that stuff anyways, but cows most likely get them because they're in herds of thousands and thousands. And if one cow gets it, the whole herd gets it. So most of the time they get their shots at the beginning. No one's getting an mRNA vaccine. No cow is getting it. I don't care what Bill Gates says. I don't care what they say. They're not getting it. And lab-grown meat is crazy. It's not good for you. Just like anything. You buy Best Foods. I don't know if you guys are Miracle Whip or Best Foods dudes.
I don't fuck with none of that.
Yeah, because if you go buy Best Foods thing, which was our mayonnaise for a long time, because I was a Miracle Whip guy growing up. We were broke, poor. So we were Miracle Whip all the time. But if you look on the Best Foods, I didn't think it was true until my dad sent it to me. If you turn it to the side, it says mechanically engineered, blah, 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 all on the side. Bioengineered, something like that. Yeah, they're right on the side of it. Yeah.
They're using, I think BE is what it says now. Instead of GMO, they're not using GMO anymore. They're using BE.
No kidding.
You were safer with the GMOs, bro. I'll tell you that.
I mean, of course, I ate it when I was younger and stuff, but now that I'm so conscious on what I eat, you know what I mean? I try to eat organic meat, everything organic, not that... I mean, I don't even really know if that makes a huge difference, but if it's on the label, it makes me feel better. You know what I mean?
That's the biggest thing. That's their selling point, is that the organic's on the label. The big thing is about organic meat is that It's just like organic. If you go to Smith's and buy organic vegetables, it's still shot with something. It's still sprayed with something. They just spray around it or don't spray it earlier than later. It's still shot up with something for sure.
So what do you think we should look at, or what would you advise us to look at if we're all trying to get the best meat? Like, what's
Well, if you come to Just Meats, you know,
yeah, yeah, that's it.
So if you're going to go to the store, especially because I'm a big fan of Gary Brecka. Gary Brecka is a big dude when it comes to meats, organic, stuff like that. Organic is a better way to go because it's not directly sprayed at the time of consumption. Rinsing your stuff off. You really got to buy a veggie wash for your vegetables to get the shit off it. But you really got to soak it in baking soda and you'll see all the bugs come out of it. It's kinda crazy.
God.
It's gross, dude. It's gross. It happens. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. But and when I was at the commissary I used to be at, the Army base, we'd see the packs of vegetables come in. It was straight. They picked it, put it on a truck in a box, and it got sent out here from California, or out there to from California. You'd find banana spiders. You'd find all these bugs on it, but there's internal bugs too. But meat, if you're going to the store, if you're going to buy it from Smith's and not buy it from us, you want to go, you want to go organic, but buying something out of the case, if you're a pure carnivore, it's not going to hurt you. I mean, chemicals, you're going to get chemicals no matter what. We clean with bleach at the shop. I breathe in every day. Probably have lung cancer one day because of it, but I can't not clean with bleach. Bugs come around. Shit comes around. So if you're going to go buy from the store, buy something organic. But the problem is with organic meat, if you go to Smith's, they're going to have pre-packed ribeyes in a vacuum seal. They don't cut those there. Those get mailed in on a truck. Who knows where they were cut, when they were cut, what solution was added to them. So you're really not helping yourself anyway. The best way to do it, just like I said, I'm selling 3/4 cows this week. That's the best way to do it because that's my old shop that does those. That ranch has been in business since the 70s. The shop's been in business since the 70s. Those are 100% organic because their packages will say not for sale. You're really not even allowed to say them per the USDA.
Wow. What's the cost on something like that? Quarter cow, and like what's the yield? What do you get from that?
So a quarter cow, the ones I'm selling this week, it all depends on the weight. So these cows you're getting in your freezer about 155 pounds of meat. It's around, we weighed it about 155 pounds. It's about $1,680 is what we're
but
selling
that
it
still
for.
probably breaks down to cheaper and better, I would think.
100%.
Yeah,
Because you're paying $7 a pound.
What's
Close.
it broken down to as far as like ground beef, ribeyes, like?
So a quarter you could get anywhere. A whole cow you're going to probably push 100 to 200 pounds of meat. It all depends on the weight because a cow can hang at 600 pounds or it can hang at 1,200 pounds. It just depends on how they raise them, what their breed is, how big they got. So a quarter cow you're going to get 25 to 45 pounds of ground beef. And like I was telling you with the tri-tip thing, so a cow, like divide that by 4. Cows only have 2 tri-tips. So 2 quarters are getting tri-tips, 2 quarters are getting briskets. Then when you get to your steaks, a cow only has 2 prime rib roasts, a whole prime rib roast like that big, anywhere from 15 to 22 pounds. That loin is going to yield you, like depending on how thick you like your steaks, 12 to 18 steaks, depending on how you're going to get that. So a quarter cow is going to maybe get 8 ribeyes. 8 ribeyes. So your steaks, everyone that buys it that's done it for the first time, they cook their steaks first, and they're like, "All I got's ground beefs and roasts left," and I'm like, "Try to tell you, I don't know." Yeah. But it's more around if you're going to eat it all around, if you're going to eat it all the time, if you're going to be carnivore, or if you just want, you're price conscious, just pay the money up front, get it. It's better for you, and I recommend everyone go carnivore anyways.
I was going to ask you. That was my next question. What's your take on the carnivore diet?
It's probably the healthiest thing for you. It's an elimination diet. Whether you are a vegan, and I mean vegans or whatever, I mean they're unhealthy because they have a lack of protein. But you can get protein from avocados, beans. You can get it. Elimination diets are probably what you want to do. But carnivore is crazy because I was 272 pounds last year. I was 272 pounds, only 5'7". I'm a short dude. Carnivore helped me get from 272 to 203. Took my high cholesterol away, my blood pressure went away, low sodium went away. My wife did it, lost 70 pounds as well. Her diabetes went away. She's had diabetes for 10 years.
Yeah,
it went away.
I'm telling you, dude.
No.
I've read up
Diabetes
on
went
this.
away.
This shit's no joke. I'm a huge advocate for carnivore diet, but I mean, it's just.
And the big
You
thing
gotta
is brain
stick to
fog.
it.
Yeah, you got to stick to it. That's the hardest part. You cheat one time, everything comes back.
Yeah,
everything comes back. And with me, it didn't work that way. So I'm not a doctor, so it doesn't really do that. But if you cheat, like my wife went back to eating veggies and stuff because she was pregnant. Her sugar got real low because she's already been a diabetic. So she went back to it. But when I went back to it, nothing came back. I had ulcerative colitis as well, like a type of Crohn's. I had a real digestive problem. And that went away as soon as carnivore came in. Went right away. It never came back. And I'm eating regular now.
That's the shit.
I'm just eating regular now, but we're going to go back to, once our baby's born, we're going to go back to carnivore.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you guys.
congratulations on the baby. Yeah,
been
that's
in
awesome.
tonight.
Yeah, grab a beer. I was just about to tell you, man. You
want one?
You need another one. I'm good. Thank you, boss.
Yeah, I
Appreciate
know
it.
it is. It's 11 a.m. in the morning.
Love to. Yeah. Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
I've been on a bender for like 4 days. I'm good.
I feel you. I've been on a bender for a couple of years, dude. It's fucking tough, bro. But no, it's good. The biggest thing was the weight loss. Weight loss was crazy. Brain fog clearing. If you ever wake up in the morning and you're driving, like I was having a problem with when I was driving to work. It may have been hungover too, I don't know. But the fogginess of the street signs you try to see, like you can't see the colors clearly. When you go on carnivore, you'll see within 2 weeks that everything lightens up. All the colors are so much brighter. I can start seeing better. I could read better. I have real bad ADHD, and my ADHD calmed down a lot. Nicotine helps with that a lot too. Believe it or not, nicotine does help with ADHD. It's crazy.
So, walk us through your day on a carnivore diet. What are you eating?
You gotta really be like thoughtful of it too, because there's meat, cheese, eggs is all you're gonna get. Meat, cheese, eggs. The farthest you can go with cheating is chicharrones, non-spice cheese. If you're trying to, so there's 2 ways to do it. A pure carnivore diet is nothing that wasn't made from an animal. So even salt technically is cheating, but without salt, it's a bland diet. It's worthless. At that point, you're unhappy. You know? So chicharrones is about as far as you can go as far as cheating. You're going to eat meat, cheese, eggs. Breakfast is always going to be eggs, sausage, bacon, and even sausage is a problem because we hand make our sausage. It'll help you lose weight. You'll stay in the realm. It'll probably still help you with the brain fog, your problems that you have, diabetes, whatever. But sugar is put into any sausage you make, unless you're pre-grinding your pork, putting salt and pepper and only doing salt and pepper sausage, which is really hard to do because if I'm grinding 25 pounds of pork, I have pre-made bags that season that. If you're going to put salt and pepper, maybe a master chef can season 25 pounds of meat without making it too salty, but I can't. I've tried. So if you're getting meat, cheese, eggs for breakfast, lunch, In-N-Out's great. If you go to In-N-Out, get a Flying Dutchman, it's awesome, dude. It's awesome. And you could do grilled onions, but that's not carnivore. Right. But if you're trying to just be healthier in general, do it. You know, the grilled onions help out with taste. But salt and pepper, and then dinner is usually steak, steak, no A1. My wife loves A1, and I can't believe people love A1. It's disgusting. I hate it. Do you?
Yeah, it just masks the flavor too much. I can't do it.
I can't do it either.
I'm not one of those people like, oh, you can't. Like some of those people that are like, oh, the steak has to have nothing on it. Like,
I don't like those people either.
Yeah,
well, I'm not saying I don't like those people. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Joe Rogan thing.
I don't mind A1. I don't mind it. I like it. And I don't have to eat it with just the steak. Like, I can put that on the fries and stuff. I just like the taste of it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I'm eating a steak, it's just salt and pepper. That's it. I don't put ranch or A1 or nothing. I mean, I just love it.
I still don't.
Yeah, dude, people do it. Dude, people do. I've actually done it before.
No.
People,
You said you like the smell of asshole?
Yeah,
You said
yeah.
eat ranch.
Yeah, I've done it before. Seriously, yeah.
What do you think of that Liver King guy's diet?
Oh, he's a psycho already. Oh, his diet is crazy. He eats carbs now. After he got exposed for doing the roids and all that stuff, once he got exposed, he changed. Liver's cool, but your body's not meant to ingest that much organs, in my opinion. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but it's a lot of iron. It's really a lot of iron with liver. We have customers that eat raw liver every day, every single day. I've done it before. I could do it. I don't want it to be a part of my regular diet, and if I die 5 years earlier than I should have because I didn't eat liver every day, then I'm fine on that. I'm not doing it.
So when you eat it, you just gotta kind of eat it in
small portions. I think the big thing is like our customers do like 1 ounce a day, 2 ounces a day. Okay. Yeah, just a.
I just didn't know if it would really make that big of a difference.
Yeah. If you guys ever come to the shop, let me know. I'll show you what a liver looks like when it's cut, and then you want to slide that down your throat. It's crazy.
Yeah. I want to go in and get some of those New Mexico chili patties.
Those are best.
I see you post those a lot, and they look really good.
They're the best, dude. We hand make those, so we do the ground beef. Believe it or not, it has a breakfast sausage seasoning in it. We do that, and then we do from Hatch, New Mexico. We do the Hatch, New Mexico chili. We mix it, run it through our patty maker. That sells big. Our mesquite patties are my favorite, but we don't sell enough of them, so we don't ever make them. If someone wants them, we'll make them, but we don't sell them. Those chili patties and our jalapeno cheddar brats are crazy.
We had a question come in. It says, what's the best way to hold flavor in a steak while cooking? And then what's the do's and don'ts while cooking steaks?
Okay, so you want to hold flavor longer. So I'll just go through the process of actually cooking a steak. In my opinion, the best way. If you have a smoker, this is my favorite way. Take your steak home, let it sit out on the counter, depending on what you keep your temperature at in your house. We keep it at 68, 70, so it takes a little bit longer. Yeah, it's cold. So yeah, we keep it a little bit longer. So it takes an hour and a half for your steak to get room temp. And then you want to season it with salt and pepper. I mean, a dry brine's cool if you do it the day before, season it the day before. That's cool too if you want that flavor in there, but we don't. We don't ever at the time, I guess. But do that. Let it get room temp. Put it on your smoker like 200 depending on how fast you're trying to get done, 200 to 235 degrees. Probe it. As soon as that temperature on the internal of the steak hits 120, pull it off. And the nicer way to do it is let that sit for 30 minutes. It's a long
because it's still
process.
cooking, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So you want to let it sit for 30 minutes. Then when you get anything out, you can get your smoker hot. I don't like to because it makes it look like my house is going to be on fire. But so I get my Blackstone or a cast iron pan really fucking hot. As hot as you can get it. I don't care if you have an electric stove or a gas stove. Get it super fucking hot. Let that sit for like 5 minutes to where it gets to like 400 or 500 degrees. Then a fat sear, depending on how rare you want it. I do 1:30 each side.
Yep.
The rule of thumb is 2 minutes, but that gets it a little.
Yeah,
just
it renders
sear
the fat.
You just want it to crust the outside so it's crunchy when you bite it. You know, you do that. And then you let it rest for like 10, 15 minutes to where it's not screaming hot when you bite it. And that's the best way to cook a steak. Do's and don'ts. Cooking it cold, we have to sometimes because I come home from work at like 6, 7 o'clock and I don't have the hour and a half to let it sit out. So I would say if you can avoid it, don't cook it cold because the cold's going to fight the heat every chance it gets. And that can make people swear that, oh, they get a steak from here and a steak from here and they cook different. If they're the same thickness, they'll cook exactly the same. It's honestly probably when you put it on. How cold, how long you let it sit out. If you put it on cold, it has a mind of its own.
Or their grill. Like there's different temperatures. Like
100%.
not every grill's made the same. It might be hotter over here than over there,
100%.
you know?
I think the best temperature to cook a steak is 130. I mean, 130 would be my
Oh,
ideal.
internal? Yeah.
Internal temperature would be 130 would be my ideal.
Yeah. And it just depends on if you're searing it or not. If you have just a barbecue, that's what I was going to get into. If you just have a barbecue or a cast iron pan, if you have a cast iron pan and just in the house, 2 minutes aside, really hot in the cast iron, 500 degrees. 2 minutes aside, minute 30. I like minute 30, but it's rare. So 2 minutes aside, super fucking hot. Get your oven preheated to 400. Dump it in the oven, the whole cast iron. Dump it in there for like 10 minutes at 400. Pull it off, do the same thing, 10-minute rest. If you just have a barbecue, super fucking hot for 3.5 to 4.5 minutes, depending on how rare you like it. That works too.
Yeah. So are you a lot of people get into like, oh, you need to flip a steak once or flip a burger once or twice. Or, you know what I mean? What's your take on that?
I'm not that guy. The grill marks and all that stuff, I'm not that guy. Yeah. I mean, I wish I could be, but half the time I forget it's on the smoker and then my Traeger app alerts me and I'm like, oh shit, dude. And then I flip it and the grill marks are there and I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I don't flip steaks because I don't even own a charcoal barbecue or a gas barbecue. I own a Blackstone, a Traeger. I'm going to buy a sous vide thing eventually. Sous vide is great. It's the same thing as a smoker. It's slow cooking it before you hit it. But no, I don't try to get this many minutes aside, flip it this way, flip it that way. I don't do that.
And how do you season your steaks? What's the best?
When we first went carnivore, like my wife did it and I did it, we did salt and pepper for everything.
Yeah.
But I have so many seasonings at the shop I love. If you've never tried a sweet steak, if you're not on carnivore, if you've never tried a sweet steak, go with a pecan maple bourbon seasoning. The savoriness of the inside battles the sweet on the outside, makes it amazing.
Really?
It's not. I'm not going to do that every day. That's like a once in a while thing. But mostly it's salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
You want to do salt and pepper. A lot of time if we don't have our, you've seen the automatic pepper things. You turn upside down and they crack them. Those are awesome. They're fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So if our pepper thing's out, we'll just do salt.
Nice.
For the people that don't know, what's the difference between prime, select, and choice?
So as low as it goes is actually no roll. So you have no roll, select, choice, prime. And in between there, you'll get people that say Black Angus is a different grade, but it's not. It's just the breed of cow.
Are you going to find, because I've never seen those lower ones, like, are you going to find those? What are you going to find mostly in the stores, like around here?
Mostly in the stores, you'll probably find choice. So if you go, there's so many grocery stores here. Albertsons, Safeway, Smith's. Bash's' probably won't have it because Bash's' is the higher end grocery store. It's a more expensive one, which is crazy, $30 for a case of beer, which is nuts. But we live by there, so we go there a lot. But you're mostly going to find choice, most likely. Choice. Select meats you'll find a lot of too, because select's always the cheapest, but you're no marbling, no nothing. And that's the big deal with the grocery store is what we were talking about a little bit earlier. If you go to the grocery store, all it takes is one mistake of a guy. This is why people say the grocery stores are so inconsistent, is that a guy could cut a prime rib on accident and mark it as select, and everyone's like, oh, that's the best steak I've ever had. Or they can cut a select on accident, mark it prime, and then they'll get it, because it's all up to human error at that point, and we all know how bad human error can be. Yeah. So if you go to the store, you could be tricked just like that. And there's also people in the industry, meat cutters and stuff like that, will be like, oh, they got a choice steak in, but that looks great enough. I'm just going to mark it prime. But when we know it's not that great, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. We don't do that ever because we only order prime anyways. With our steaks, it's prime or Wagyu. That's it. We carry choice steaks, but they're frozen. We cut them, we freeze them just for the people that don't have the money. That's fine. But then all of our other stuff, carne asada, all that stuff is actually what's called an upper 2/3 choice, and we carry Black Angus and mostly everything, which is a breed of cow just like Wagyu, is that. So if you go to the store, Black Angus is great. Charolais are my favorite, but it's hard to get Charolais.
So what could you tell us to convince us to never buy steak from a grocery store ever again and just go into Just Meats? What could you expose there?
Expose that. Oh, I got you. Well, so the first thing what I just talked about is you could get a select steak for a prime
Right.
price. You get a prime steak for a select price. So it's always going to be inconsistent.
Huge.
That's big, yeah.
It's huge. And in price per pound, our prime ribeyes go for like $27 a pound. So they're really expensive. So if you're going to pay that and accidentally get a lower steak, it's rough. And then it's going to taste like garbage. So that sucks. And the thing I will tell you about grocery store meat is that it is 100% mass produced. 100%. There's no, and I'm not saying there's a whole lot wrong with that, but there can be so many inconsistencies. Think of 1,000 head of cattle and how you're supposed to feed them in a feedlot. That's where things get inconsistent. With our things, they're more controlled. So I would say if you're going to come to my shop, you're going to buy prime or better. It is expensive, but it is a better steak, 100%. And I cut them by hand. If you go to the grocery store, this is a big deal too. If you go to the grocery store and they have boneless steaks, because I've worked in a grocery store before, you've seen bandsaws, meat bandsaws where they cut them. So there's a bone-in blade and a boneless blade. The bone-in blade is what cuts all the bone-in meat, but there's a boneless blade that makes it faster to cut steaks. But the problem is that bandsaw is moving so fast that blade gets hot, especially when it touches something cold, which meat. And a lot of the grocery stores don't cut them by hand; they cut them on that saw. It's almost pre-cooking the steak and it's ripping the pores open of the meat. That's why when even you get a nice steak from a grocery store, it's like, well, it was cut on a bandsaw, not by hand. Back in the day, butchers were so much easier. Grocery stores were better to get from. Not anymore. They're so easily trained, and which I was too. I was still young older when I got into this. My grocery store made us cut those on the bandsaw, and it's just not a better steak. It's not.
Because it's about lower labor. You know,
Yeah,
they
100%.
wanna lower their labor costs. They want to be more efficient.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
So what would you say is your biggest pet peeves? People coming into your shop or, in the industry. What is your biggest pet peeves?
I have 100 of them, but my biggest one, and this is kind of like bittersweet because I love having professional contacts. I love all that. When people come in, especially now that I'm about to have this baby, I'm going to be off for a week. I haven't been away from my shop for 2 days since I've opened it. Damn. So my biggest thing is when people come in and I'm in the back and my employees in the front, which I'm paying them good money to be here so I can do other stuff. Restaurant orders, food truck orders. I'm trying to do all that. So the biggest pet peeve I have is when people ask for me and I'm like, God, and then my employee comes back and says, hey, they want you. And I come out there and it's something not important.
Yeah.
And I'm doing something important.
Yeah.
And
Something that your employee can handle.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
And that's what you're paying your employees for.
100%. And then I come out there and I'm like, hey man, what's going on? They're like, oh, can I just get two ribeyes? And I'm like, oh, you didn't need me for that.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to say, especially with the older population here. They're a lot harder. They're a lot more set in their ways. Snowbird season is obviously worse. It's a way worse time for that. Even that's our busiest season. Holidays. It's crazy. I have 4 employees at a time there. Even my shop's only 1,000 square foot. We have 4 employees there at all times, pretty much during the winter or during Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's probably my biggest pet peeve. There's 1,000 pet peeves I can get into. People asking for fresh meat, which we have the freshest meat. So we grind beef every day. We grind beef for ground beef. We don't even let it sit till the next day. Because this is the biggest thing also about the grocery stores. If you go into a grocery store and get those 2 ground beefs, they're super cheap, way cost efficient. But you look at the expiration date, it's good for like a week and a half. You grind fresh beef, it's good for a day and a half till it goes brown and bad.
No kidding.
Yeah, you get ground beef from our store. You can cook it probably by the 3rd day, to be honest, but it's going to be brown by that point, and most people are turned off by brown meat, which is really not that bad. But
So they just add color, right? Like in the grocery stores, they add coloring to it.
So at some point it's dyed with a gas. So if you ever see something in a cryovac, you go into the grocery store and you look in the bottom of the case and there's cryovac meats. Those meats can last in that cryovac because we have those too. We have those cryovacs that come from our guys, but it's because if it takes 3 days to get to us, whether it come from Colorado, California, wherever it takes, that meat can go bad in 3 to 5 days. So they do cryovac it with a gas. So you'll sit that, you can take a whole brisket. You ever bought a whole brisket and it's in that cryovac pack? That could last a month and a half, which is crazy. And the ground beef thing is the biggest deal because you don't know where it was ground. If they come in tubes at the grocery store and they're little tubes, they didn't grind that there. That came from somewhere else. 100%. They do grind fresh beef, like in the case, but that ground beef, you'll see it start to get brown or bad within a day, day and a half.
Well, shit. That's awesome. Thank you for coming in, man.
Yeah, dude, of course.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Tell us something that you want everyone to know about Just Meats that they probably don't know.
The thing I said before, everything by hand. It's family owned. We don't have any investors. We don't have any outdoor anybody with us. Like it's only us. I'm there pretty much every day. Like I said, I'll be gone for a little bit now, but I'm there every day. So everything, the quality that we put out, we've only had, and this is not to lead anybody's intrusive thoughts, but we have as of today, we have 56 5-star reviews. Only bad review we've ever had was somebody put a 3-star on our Google but it was for that big company, Just Meats. I don't know if you've seen it on your Facebook. They deliver meat
Yes.
to your doors. Yeah. So that's a problem. They've already left us 1 3-star. We have 55 5-stars and 1 3-star, and that 3-star is from someone else. We get calls every day. People are like, "Hey, my meat didn't get delivered to my door. What's going on?" And I'm like, "Hey, that's not us."
God, that sucks to be
It
like.
sucks so bad, dude.
Oh, dude.
We got one review taken down, which was awesome. We replied to her and she took it down, but the one lady with the 3-star, she didn't reply to us. I even did some investigative work. I looked at other reviews she left, called those places. She's from San Diego. I was like, "Hey, do you have an email for her or something so I could ask her to take a review down?"
Yeah.
But yeah, the biggest thing is that we're in there every day. We're family owned. We are locals now. Yeah, we're from California, but like it matters.
As all of us are.
Yeah.
Everybody is.
We're all-
Dude, that whole thing is ridiculous. Everybody's a transplant from somewhere.
The only locals are the kids that are born here.
Right,
Those are
exactly.
the locals, man.
Right.
And they're some of the worst kids.
Yeah, right.
yeah,
Those kids are wild, man.
Yeah.
Never grew up with nothing, man. They
Yeah.
grew up with the best stuff. It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dope. Well, thanks for coming in today, Justin. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course,
So
man.
you guys hit up Just Meats again. He's located on Lake Havasu Avenue and Swanson.
Swanson and McCulloch,
Swanson
yeah,
and
between
McCulloch.
Swanson and McCulloch, yeah. Or no, Mesquite and McCulloch.
Mesquite, Mesquite, right there by
Swanson's that
Zip
other
Fields.
butcher shop, man.
Next
I
to
don't
Little
wanna talk about
Caesars. Thank you guys for joining. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things that help this channel grow, and please visit Just Meats.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Talk to you guys later.
Like, that was good.
That was good. That was super good.
That was nice.
That was super. That was really
Cool,
good.
man.